Good morning. I don't normally make these kinds of videos, but I just thought it would be a cool idea to share with you guys the books that I want to read in February this year. So, yeah, let's just start. So, I was thinking about doing one a week. I think one book a week is pretty good. I haven't read in a while. It's been in a rut, kinda. But I always love reading, you know? It's always a great escape. So, the first book I want to start with, and I've already began reading this, I began reading it last night, is The Courage to Be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi. I think that's how you pronounce it, and Fumitake Koga. Now, don't stand on me for saying that wrong, but you know, this is an issue I've dealt with before, you know. The feeling of being disliked, you know. I don't like being disliked. But at the same time, I understand that it doesn't matter a whole lot. It's just that fully confronting that fact and putting it into account in everyday life is something that I want to do. And that tagline is very ambitious. A single book can change your life. That is a pretty brave statement to make there. But hey, I mean, I've started it. I've read about 14 pages. I really like the perspective of it between a philosopher and it says youth, so I just assume that by youth it's like a student or a, you know, young person, obviously. So yeah, seems like a very wise book. And yeah, the perspective is really good. I really like the whole psychologist, philosopher teaching a young person, you know. It's kind of like a mentor figure type thing, you know. I really like that concept. So yeah, hopefully I'll get around to that. I'll try to finish it. I mean, I'm already interested in it, so I don't see a reason not to. And then And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I've never read any Agatha Christie before, but this book in particular has interested me for quite a while. I've always been a big fan of whodunits, you know, in film particularly. I mean, I haven't read many whodunit novels or stories, but I like the concept of whodunit, you know. Yeah, it's one of my favorite, not genres, it's not particularly a genre, I don't think. It's one of my favorite themes in film, especially if the whole film revolves around it. It's very interesting, it's very engaging, catches my interest. Like films like The Thing and Mystic River and Reservoir Dogs, those films are some of my favorites, and those are classic whodunits in my opinion. Yeah, so I'm excited to read that. But next up, and this I think is the most complicated of all my books, I'd say, that I have here, is Plato's The Republic. I've certainly heard about Plato. I mean, I'm a philosophy buff. I love philosophy. I love everything about philosophy. I love moral questions, and I love, you know, hearing about what these Greek philosophers were saying back then, you know, and their way of living and the great moral questions of life, you know. I just love philosophy as a subject. I need to get into it more. That's my goal for this year, is to read more philosophy, or one of my goals, you know. And, you know, I've heard that a good place to start is The Republic by Plato. And I do know some bits about this book. I mean, I've already started it a little bit, read a few pages. But I initially thought that this was written by Socrates, but I was dead wrong. Socrates is in this book, but Plato just took some of the teachings from Socrates. He was a student back in, must have been 400 something BC, right? I mean, Jesus. Yeah, he took he basically took the oratories of Socrates, his speeches, and just put them in written form in some ways. I mean, I don't know, I guess I'll see the logistics of all that. I haven't read the introduction, but the introduction's about 50 pages long, so it's about 20% of the whole book. And whenever I pick up one of these classics and I check out the introduction, and it's like a big portion of the book, it's like, oh god, you know that there's a lot of background and context to this. And I always love that, you know. I think it would be a good idea if I just read the text itself and then read the introduction. I think that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, very interested in The Republic. And finally, we've got Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This book doesn't seem that long. It's about, well, my copy here is about 200 pages. And yeah, obviously I know who Frankenstein is. I haven't read any Mary Shelley before, but this cover art is pretty scary, you know. It's pretty haunting. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. I don't know if that's a scalpel or something. I don't know. That's creepy. Yeah, I'm interested in this one. I've been wanting to read Frankenstein and Dracula for a good while now. I mean, I've read Dracula, but I haven't read Frankenstein. But yeah, I know who they are. I know who they are. Obviously, they're classic monsters, you know. I mean, I'm yet to meet someone who doesn't know who Frankenstein is, but I have met plenty of people who haven't read Frankenstein, so I don't want to be one of those people anymore. So yeah, right. That's my reading plan for the month. I hope that I can, you know, get through all those books, hopefully learn a thing or two. And yeah, I'll review each one individually. So yeah, right. Thanks for watching, guys.